Hey, this lesson is about scales, composite scales, and modes and fretboard mechanics. Good to have you back. Today we're talking about scales and digging in just a little bit deeper. I'm imagining that you already know your C major scales up and down the fretboard, right? So I'm not going to bother going through that. Today we're looking at the G major scale, and then I'm going to give you some ideas as to how to practice these scales and how, as well, how they become modes, how they can become modes. And that will also give you some additional things to think about and to practice and to listen to. Okay, so the G major scale. I'm just going to go through each of these scale forms slowly so the reader can read it. A G major scale has an F sharp. It has an F sharp. And it starts on a G note. The tonic of a G major scale is a G. I know that seems sort of obvious. So once again, there's my F sharp. There's my F sharp. All right, and I suggest that when you play through scales, you always have a tonal center chord. At the very least, you could go from further too. You could go 1, 4, 5, 1, right? But at the very least, let's do a tonic chord after you play the scale. Okay. Next position, we call this second position because my first finger is on the second fret, and here is the scale. There's my F sharp again. There's my F sharp again. And you could use this as your one chord. Okay, let's just do that one more time. Remembering we're in second position here. There's the second position. There's my root, my tonic chord. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. All right, and now we're going to move up to fourth position, filling up the fretboard here. This is the first time I'm moving up an octave for my tonic. There's the G, G, A, B, C, D, shift. F sharp. You should shift here at first finger, and it indicates that in the fingering. It's an important one. So I'm effectively in fifth position here. Then I press back to fourth position with my baby finger. Always play the scales identically, ascending and descending. All right, so now we have the first scale, second position, fourth position. Remember that position is defined by your position finger, meaning your index finger. This is really important. And here's your one chord. All right, and then the next position is seventh position, and here is my root. And here's the scale, and we're doing this one right here. I'm going to slow down a little bit and let the reader catch up. Always the same notes, right? We're just moving up the fretboard. one chord. Here's my one chord. Here's my one chord. And here's my one chord. There's so many different ways to play each of these chords, but this is a good one. If I play the chord like this, it's the same chord, same notes, just a different voicing. All right, so that was 7th position. Now my root is going to remain the same, and I'm going to move to 9th position, and that would bring me to this form here. Right, and there's my one chord. Slowly. All of these scales are in vertical positions. Later on, you can begin to connect them across the fretboard laterally, but we start with vertical positions. The nice thing about vertical positions is that they indicate chords more simply, right? So you know, there's my chord, and there's my scale underneath that chord, and that chord can be made to imply, that scale can be made to imply the chord. And we've just run out. There's only 5, but we can take it all the way up to the octave and play the first position. And there's my position that is the same as the first position. So starting in open position and then moving to 12th position. So now I've filled up the whole fretboard with G major scales, and I've also added in each case a one chord. I suppose I could go up here too. Sure, why not? Hey, if you're learning something, if you're getting something out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe, ask a question, leave a comment, or buy me a coffee. Thanks. Now, I'm going to take this one step further because I think this is sort of fun. And maybe it'll give you a better idea of how tonal centers work. If you've done your homework and you know the G major scale and the C major scale, here's my C major scale with no F sharp in it, right? C major scale, C major scale, and so on, right? Across the fretboard, same idea, right? You're going to have 5 different regions, or 6 if you want to add the octave at the top. And if you've got a tiny fretboard with a big, with a cutaway, you can do like a baby fretboard up on top. You just keep repeating those same fingerings. I hate using the word patterns, but those scale forms. Let's call them forms. Okay. Now, I'm going to play a G major scale in 2nd position. And starting on the G, I'm going to play a C major scale in the same position. Except starting from G. And what I'm going to end up with, do you know? I will end up with a Mixolydian mode. Why? Why isn't it a C major scale? Because I'm not starting on a C. I'm starting on the G. G becomes my tonal center. The listener will hear everything from G. It's no longer going to be hearing it from C if I'm hammering on G all the time. Right? C major scale? No. That's a Mixolydian mode. Well, what what if I do sort of a reverse of that? I play a G major scale, but except I start from a C. And now what I end up with when I change my tonal center, right, and I play a G major scale from a C, I end up with a raised and augmented fourth. It's still a major scale sound. And the same thing will apply wherever I want to do that on the fretboard. If, let's say, I'll just move to the 7th position. So here's my G major scale. Except now I'm going to play the G major scale from a C. Playing? Am I still playing a G major scale, a C major scale? I don't know. What am I playing? Well, if I play the G major scale starting from C, I'm going to have a Lydian mode, right? If I play the G major scale, the G major scale starting if I play the C major scale starting from G, I'm sorry, I'm going to have that flat 7. And so it all depends on where the tonal center is. It all depends on how you are implying the tonal center. You are deciding where the tonal center is going to be, and by doing that, the scales that you already know can begin to morph into other scale sounds or modes. So just to recap, we started with the G major scale. We worked the G major scale up and down the fretboard. A great exercise now is, for instance, to take the G major scale, ascending, and C major, descending, maybe stopping from G, right? But the idea is that you expand your thinking, not just thinking one scale, but thinking 2 scales at the same time. And it'll be up to you how you define the tonal center. So we've actually got 3 scales now. They're all major modes. We have the Ionian mode, which is our common major scale. We have the Lydian mode, which is like a major scale, except with a raised 4th degree, or an augmented 4. And we have a Mixolydian mode, which is like a major scale with a flat 7. All right, so that's all right here in this exercise, and it can be a very, very interesting and challenging exercise, and you should extrapolate it across the entire fretboard. No gaps, right? Make sure that you fill up the entire fretboard and you know where you're going. And build a practice routine that adds this kind of idea into it. So what you're thinking is composite scales, not just which leads to plural practice. You're not just practicing one scale over and over again, one scale sound, but you're beginning to harmonically manipulate the scale sounds by choosing different tonal centers. Okay, I think that's it. I think we've got that one. And we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for stopping by, and see you again real soon. Bye.